Today we'll be sharing on a private. I was very lucky to see uh, three vascular surgeons in private. Dr. Chan, there's one Dr. Desmond, and the last is Dr. Chen Ming Qi. You know what's interesting is the vascular surgeon Dr. Chan. When I uh, explained to him that the state of renal patients in NUH is bad, he was shocked. Um, what's nice is the vascular surgeon in private might uh, tell you things which, for example, Dr. Chan gave me a basic renal education, which my doctor, Dr. Clara, and NEH didn't. She didn't have time. And, okay. Now, one thing you must accept is that when your dialysis ends, uh, 20 to 30 minutes is required for housekeeping. Means the time taken to take out the needle, the time taken to dress you up with a tachyderm. Yes, sorry, 20K. Sorry. Now I wrote here. The most important thing if you do dialysis is that you could use your handphone for 3.5 hours or four. Sorry, but I would highly suggest you to buy a laptop which can last you 4 hours. Now I explained to my family that I have a laptop that has a battery life of 2, and they were very helpful to suggest, then why didn't you bring the electrical adapter, the laptop? But I didn't want to because the laptop, you know, electric plug was very heavy. Okay, now I'm going to share uh, about being at a private dialysis center called the Vida in Jurong East. You know what's nice about there is uh, because I've been at NUH, I'm now at Ajis Renal Life. I almost went to NUH at Alexis Condominium. I've not seen NKF and I've not seen KDF, but I can. I really want to commend this dialysis center in Jurong East called Davida because it's the only one where they have a receptionist, and it's the only one where someone who manages the admin is actually seated there. So a lot of questions you might have as a new patient, the nurses will always say that I'm sorry I don't have kind of up with you. But when you go to a private center with a receptionist, it's something money can buy. I feel okay. So the bad thing about that center I mentioned is that the toilet is very far away. So that's a disadvantage of the center. Okay. Uh, there's one thing I'm very angry about, which is, you might think that NH is very cheap, but it's actually very expensive. Because if you see a vascular surgeon, the surgeon will ask you to do a vascular scan. And NUH is very expensive. It's 400. Yes, it's not 200. It's 400. Okay. Uh, another thing about the dialysis center at your east is, they're the only ones who will give up water for you, refreshments, I mean, during the dialysis. No other center will give out refreshments. Okay, so uh, now if you look from a standpoint, the dialysis center at Towson is cheaper than the one at Jurong East. You know, so you really got to compare the price per session of dialysis. You know, You might also want to question if you ask the dialysis center, if I'm hungry and I ask for biscuits, is the biscuits free flow? No limit? Yeah. Now, what was very interesting for me, which I didn't know, is that before being a patient at the Jurong East Center, I didn't know that the doctor in charge, called Dr. Alvin Ng, he had actually, before admitting me into the center, I didn't know that the doctor in charge had to go through my case notes, and he was the one who decided to let me in. So once you're in the dialysis center, you have to find out who's the doctor in charge of you, and you have to um, prepare yourself when he sees you. Okay. Um, there's one thing which really shocked me is the center I'm in right now. I thought it was semi-private and public, but in fact it's fully private. The next thing is, then you might ask, I was just very shocked that Davida at Jurong East, they are different. They have private and they have public. You know. Another thing is that if you go to NCare website and you want to donate to them, you can donate uh, a new machine or go try and the NCare website says that the machine is $25,000. Yeah. Uh, I wrote here that the center I'm in right now, Real Life, just it's horrible, and if you are at NUH and Lexus condominium, it's also horrible because they are very small. The center is already full. They don't offer you a waiting area. If you were very early, you needed to wait. And NUH at Lexus condominium, they just give you like uh, a few chairs there outside. Over here at Real Life at Alexandra, uh, yeah, there's no sitting area inside, so just gotta go outside and sit down. So that's very sad that only Davida at Jurong East has a dedicated seating area. You know, uh, I wrote here that it's very interesting because every dialysis center has an ecosystem. What I mean by this is when I was at Thompson at Argis at Reno Life, it was in the middle of an F&B zone, like Holland Village. So there were like 10 restaurants or F&B next door. So that was very lucky to go to a life center where there's lots of F&B. Okay. Uh, Another thing is that you know uh, another thing is over at NUH, uh, it's a drop off point, but you can't wait. That drop off point is you have to you can't wait. Yeah, once you enter it, you have to leave. See, whereas over at Zavida Jurong East, they have a drop off point and you can actually stay there. And so that's a good thing. You see, you really got to see the center and see the amenities. Yeah. Now, what's very interesting is that once you start being patient at the renal and you see a nephrologist, you know they the PSA will book an appointment for you to see a vascular surgeon, and you really got to manage that appointment because nobody's going to help you uh with your appointment to see the vascular surgeon. You're all on your own. So another interesting fact I like to mention is that um I got to know my vascular surgeon through the referral which Gleneagles Hospitals made for me. I'm very thankful for that. But I didn't know, for example, there are some private doctors who actually will refer me to my current vascular surgeon. So if you're lucky, you get a private doctor who will refer you to the vascular surgeon. If not, you really have to just wait for your NUH1. So uh, I'm going to share with you what the transplant coordinator. When you are warded in a public hospital, you're not allowed to discharge till you are assigned a slot in a dialysis center, outpatient. So for me, it was a very nice Filipino lady, probably in the 30s or 40s, and she was very the first time she see you, she won't be very honest, and she will just be very surface level with you. It's only after seeing her for 2 3 times then she's honest with you. So the first thing she was honest to me was she explained to me that NKF and KDF are currently full, not allowed to accept new ones. Even if you were like broke or you had it not working, NKF still had a queue. So that's the reality of NKF and KDF. Even if you're very needy, you're unemployed, you still gotta wait for someone to leave discharge the center, then you get accepted in. Then how about other centers? Well, when you minus KDF and NKF, you actually have a lot of centers in private. But then you got to check whether your insurance will pay for it. Yeah. Uh, Another thing is that what I feel very sad is because when the transplant coordinator at the hospital while you're being warded tells you, I've got to stop you here. The thing is that you can't do comparison. You can't compare if you were in Ajis Renal Life or you Freshness because when she offers you that option slot at for that dialysis, you really don't know what the amenities and where the location is. So it's really unfair for you, I admit, that the transfer coordinator will tell you, I'm sorry I tried 90% of the centers. These are the 10% centers which have a slot for you. So yeah. And then the thing is that once you go to the center, when you start your first dialysis, things will get very rough. Uh, yeah. So you really got to adjust. You really got to hang in there. And yeah, as I said just now, yeah. So that's it for this episode.